Alright, this video is going to be solving radical equations, and I'm going to focus on the radical end rather than rational exponents here. So just reminding you of these steps, and you shouldn't have to write these down, but remember you always want to isolate the radical to one side if necessary, raise each side to the same power to eliminate the radical, and then you can solve your equation whatever method you need. So on this one, my radical is isolated, and it's a square root, so I'm going to square both sides to get rid of it. So I get x plus 6 equals 9, and then you subtract 6 and you get 3. And then check for extraneous solutions, so 3 plus 6 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So it works. Alright, here to isolate my radical, I need to subtract that 1. And then to get rid of a third root, I would cube, and negative 2 cubed is negative 8, and then I'm going to add 5 and check my answer. So negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8, cube root of negative 8 is negative 2, plus 1 is negative 1, and it works. Okay, here my radical is isolated, so I square it, which means I square a quantity. Be really careful, this means FOIL, right? Don't square the x and square the negative 2. So I really have to FOIL that out, which is x squared minus 4x plus 4, and my radical cancels out on the right hand side. Now I have a quadratic, so I'm going to subtract x over here to get negative 5x, and subtract 10 to get negative 6. It factors. If it didn't, I'd use the quadratic formula, but it does factor down to minus 6 and plus 1. So x equals 6 and negative 1 if I solve those, and then check them. So 6 minus 2, actually I'm going to write this one out. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Remember to always check it in the original equation, right? And then 6 plus 10 is 16, and the square root of 16 is 4, so that's good. And then I'll check my other one in different color here. So negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, and negative 1 plus 10 is 9, but the square root of 9 is positive 3, and that does not check, so negative 1 doesn't work. And remember, it's not plus or minus when you're checking, only when you're solving. So be real careful with those extraneous solutions. Check them, check them, check them. Okay, last one. This is the big doozy. I cannot isolate my radical because I have 2 of them, and if I subtract this 2 over, then that radical is not isolated. So because I can't do that step, I have no choice at this point but to just square both sides. So the right hand side is nice and easy because that just cancels out. The left hand side is not so easy because that means I have to FOIL out this craziness with a radical. So let me rewrite that. Be real careful here, this quantity, right? So now when you FOIL it, I have a radical times a radical, which is going to cancel out to just x plus 6. I have 2 times a radical of x plus 6. I have another 2 times a radical of x plus 6. And I have a 2 times a 2, which is a 4. So I have x plus 6 plus 2 of these plus 2 of these is 4 of these. And now I'm ready to just kind of get some like terms together. So now I still have a radical, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to isolate this one by getting all this other stuff over the other side. So let me simplify a little bit more here. X plus 10 plus 4 root x plus 6. Okay, now I'm going to subtract my x over, so that, and I'm going to subtract my 10 over. So if I subtract x, I'm going to have a minus 4x, and if I subtract 10, my 10's cancel out. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 4 remember you want to isolate the radical. So that's going to be a negative x, and then I can square both sides, holy buckets, right? And a negative squared will turn positive. And looky there, I got a quadratic again, so I'm going to subtract my x and my 6 over, and that factors down as follows. And let's see, we get a positive 3 and a negative 2. However, I haven't checked my answers, so 3 and negative 2. So I'm going to start with 3. You can read through my cross over here. 3 plus 6 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. 10 minus 3 times 3, 10 minus 9 is 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. So, okay, what does that tell me? That tells me that 3 doesn't work out. Lastly, negative 2. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. And negative 1 times... No, what am I checking? I already forgot. Negative 2, sorry. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So those don't match up either. So that means that I have no solution. Oh my. All that work to discover that I really have no solution. You know what I just realized? I'm sorry, you probably realized this too. I'm going to check negative 2 again. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. 10 plus 6 is 16. And the square root of 16 is 4. I apologize. That means that that's not no solution, that x does equal negative 2. But the negative 3 did not work.